Welcome along to the second Hypermotard video. After the first video, the 12-month Hypermotard review and how well it was received, I thought it would be a good idea to provide you with some running costs. Now these prices may vary depending on where you live, so just use them as a rough guide. So let's get straight into it. The services for the Hypermotard are breaking down into three. There's the annual, oil and the Desmo. The costs range from 170 to 190 for the annual, 250 to 270 for the oil, and 800 to £1,000 for the Desmo. The Desmo is the big one where the valve clearances and timing belts are done. Now you can see here the timing belts and the valve clearances, that's the Desmo. That's the expensive one, and you can see it's at an interval of 18,000 and 36,000 miles. Now this book you can find online. It just gives you a good breakdown of all the different checks and everything that's done. Another one is the coolant changed. You can see there it's at an interval of 27,000 miles. More than likely I won't have the bike when these types of services are done. I'll have probably part exchanged it. I've been informed that for my bike coming up, it's got 4,500 miles on it, and the next service is going to be approximately 170 to 190. I'll give more detail and a breakdown once the works have been done. I'm 33 with 6 years no claims, and I'll be paying £397 for my insurance. That's fully comprehensive. And that's for the bike being valued at £12,500. Bearing in mind that I did buy this bike second hand. Track days. So if I was going to be doing 3 days on a track, say in a Euro track day, I would plan on changing the oil and the oil filter myself, unless the annual service is coming up. For the oil, you'll need just enough 4 litres at a cost of around £14 per litre. That's going to cost you £56, and you'll have a little bit of spare. And the oil filter is around £12. I've not had to change my tyres yet. In the last 12 months, I've only done 2 days at Cadwell. You can see the tyres are in still pretty good condition. A new set of tyres for the bike are going to cost you around £300 a set. Now what I'd recommend is heading over to somewhere like Trumpet Tyres or the Tyre Hobbit and shooting them a message on Facebook. You could save yourself over 50% on a set of scrubs. Now a set of scrubs are a set of tyres used primarily by race teams which still have plenty of life left in them. For your brake pads, if you plan on doing 3 days, I would definitely bring along a set of front brake pads. They're only going to cost you around £50. Fork seals. Now, I've not had to replace mine. The seals on the Hyper have been perfect, but I thought I'd add them, as you're more than likely going to be slamming that front wheel down quite a lot. If they do go wrong, they're going to cost you around £300 to get fixed. Now, the Hyper has a small fuel tank of around 14 litres. I was averaging around 45 miles per gallon on a long journey, which gets you roughly around 120 miles before the fuel light comes on. There is a reserve tank which is around 3.4 litres. Now I love a bit of finance. Like I mentioned in my first video, I had the 939 SP 2017, and when in the market for another one, I was actually considering another 2017 as I loved it that much. But the deal that I found on this bike was too good. A 939 was still around the £10,000 mark, whilst this 2019 second hand one was only 12,500 with 3,000 miles on the clock, and it had a good selection of extras on it. So I had a £2,500 deposit and pay £126 per month. I can't actually remember what the balloon payment will be. This was over a 4-year period. If you're like me, you probably won't keep the bike 4 years. More than likely, I'll trade this in for a newer model, a newer Hypermotard. Going back to the service costs, do you keep the bike longer knowing the big service is due, or has the warranty run out? These are just a few things to consider. So that wraps it up. It's just a few little points there I thought I'd give you on a few running costs if you are in the market for one. I hope you liked it. Please consider subscribing and stay tuned for more. I've got a few more videos in the pipeline coming up very soon. Thanks. Bye for now.